guys, Anthony Medico, MVG, and we're live on the Speakeasy. Hey guys, welcome to MVG Studios. Hey guys, Anthony Medico, MVG, and we're live on the Speakeasy. And today I got Claudio Villas, CEO and founder of the Roofing Business Broker.
Yes, sir. The Roofing Business Broker, the Roofing Biz Broker. You can see it over there too. What are we going to talk about
today? Wearing your hat today. There's a whole lot of activity going on the last couple of years here with PE groups and larger companies wanting to consolidate the roofing industry, the storm restoration industry, contractors in general, which, by the way, was unheard of 10 years ago.
That's true. This
is a new thing. And you kind of tell me a little bit how'd you get into the roofing space? I understand you've been here 22 years. You've been selling companies for 10. Now, how'd you find yourself in the contractor niche?
I really have no idea how I got into it. No, the truth is, it was planned. I used to sell every type of business, from hair salons to restaurants to whatever, and I realized that you really can't be very efficient if you don't know the industry. So I was looking to focus in one industry. What I didn't know was that I was actually going to focus on the roofing industry. But a couple of years ago, I sold a pretty large company, which is Nolan's Roofing, and it's Nolan's Roofing in Central Florida, in Claremont, Florida.
Okay.
And that's a pretty large company. It was one of the top 100. And Greg Nolan, who's a great guy, started introducing me to some people in the industry.
What's up, Greg?
Hey, Greg, good to see you. So he started introducing me to people in the industry, and I started understanding how the industry is going, and then I found out that there's a lot of money coming into the industry from private equity groups and other investors as well. And I thought, okay, well, this is the place. There's many reasons why I'm here now after I made the jump, and one of the reasons is because, yes, there's a lot of money coming in, and there's a lot of owners that are getting to the age of retirement. The problem is that the owners are getting all these offers right and left, and they're not really understanding exactly how that works, and many of them get taken advantage for that. So I thought, okay, well, these guys have been working for 20, 30 years. You're building a business. You actually gave jobs to people. You build something that you want to leave as a legacy, and then the last decision that you make could actually screw everything up that you made. Right? So I want to help people actually protect that, and that's the reason why I'm doing it.
Now, Nolan's, was that a PE group sell, or was it
Yes, it was a PE group sell.
So talk a little bit about that. So there's been, I kind of predicted this 10 years ago.
You did, because I read your book.
Consolidation in the roofing industry, mainly because of the storm restoration models. I thought. But that's an avalanche of PE groups now sniffing out roofing companies.
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
Well, because roofing, and you might disagree with me, and that would be fine, or you might agree. But the number one thing is that roofing is not going to go away. No matter what happens in the world, you're going to have to change roofs. You're going to have to put new roofs. Every so often you need to change it. There's about a lot of storms.
Hailstorms, hurricanes, windstorms,
exactly.
tornadoes.
And climate change or not, I don't know, some people believe in it, some people don't, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of climate situations, if you will. And that's going to continue to be, no matter what happens with AI world or with technology or whatever, you're going to have to continue. So this is actually an industry that's going to continue to grow. You're going to need more new roofs in the future, and I think it's about 65% of the total households in the United States are old enough to be changed. So private equity sees this, private equity and other investors, they see this, and they want to jump in it.
Now, was Nolan's a storm contractor, or mainly a more retail company?
No, more retail and some commercial.
Now, there's two groups of P's out there. There's one group that wants the perfect roofing company or contract with the perfect set of books, 5-10 years of growth, perfect EBITDA. And there's another set, and I think they're the smarter ones, mind you, that are actually now going after the younger, upcoming, high-growth companies, which kind of are weak in their back office, maybe don't have the best accounting systems, don't have the best HR systems, don't have the best systems, but they're growing like a garden. And I think that's smart, because they're capturing these guys probably at a discount of what that same contractor might be 3 years from now or 5 years from now, when he becomes more mature. and getting a good deal. And the synergy there is they're aligning their back office operations, their accounting systems, their HR with that high growth model. And I think there's a movement into the smaller companies that are high growth.
That is correct. Yeah, that is correct. And some people think that you're selling your business because you're retiring. The smart strategy would be to sell your business while you're growing it, not when you're retiring it, especially if you're a young guy that actually built something that is repeatable, and then you bring people with money to help you grow it better. Exactly. You sell part of it, you keep a part of it, and you can make tons of money that way, right? So it's not only about retirement, it's also about the younger generation that they have the grit, they have the power, they're
going like this, but they haven't gone like this quite yet.
Well, the problem when the problem when you're growing like this, it's that it takes money to grow like this. You can't grow like this forever.
Eventually, you're always going to see a downward slide in a bell-shaped curve. So sometimes that alignment can keep you going, or at least plateauing.
Well, yeah. Well, here's the thing. Whatever brought you here is not going to take you there. So you've been growing like this up to a certain point. You're not going to be able to grow on your own for the next level. You need to bring resources. You need to bring professionals that know how to do all the accounting, all the management, and so forth, because you get to a certain point until you just can't grow anymore on your own.
One Dave Cox stands out, Cox Roofing in St. Louis. Been in business less than 2 years.
Hey, Dave.
What's up, Dave? And I had a referral. I sent a PE group. I won't mention any names. I don't know how confidential it is. To it, and they right away want to make an offer.
Yes.
And I know there's some issues and some entanglement going on there because he's never been through that. And I know you're chatting with him and might help him out and stuff like that. But that's what I'm talking about, is people are starting to realize that going after the small high growth, even the ones that are even 3 years in business, sometimes there's a jewel in that, in that area.
It is a different type of investor, though. So the people who are investing in the longer terms, they're looking for stability. They're looking for things well organized. They don't want to make it grow too much.
It's a riskier deal.
It's exactly. But if you can sell it when you're growing, that's the best thing you can do.
I wrote, in my book, Win the Game, I remember one chapter, I wrote about this 10 years ago. I'm like, man, this industry is ripe for consolidation.
Yeah.
Because you had a whole industry, it's $100 billion. When you add the storm restoration model into the roofing space, contracting space, you're really talking about a $100 billion industry.
Yes.
Retail roofing by itself might be 50 or 60 billion standard roof replacements. But when you throw that storm restoration model in, you're talking about a $100 billion plus industry, which is growing exponential.
Yes.
Based on increased tornadic activity, hailstorms, hurricanes, and all that good stuff. So, are your thoughts, on these PE groups, do they respect the storm model? I know some of them hate them. Do they think it's, hey, that's cool, they got this explosion in sales sometimes, or do they like it, hate it?
You can't make just a general answer. Some of them do, some of them don't, and that's where people like me come in. We look for the right buyer for your company. So if you have a storm-based company, it's one type of buyer. If you have a younger company that wants to capitalize, it's a different type of buyer. If you want to sell to another roofer, which is another interesting thing that you could do, rather than going the PE route, go to another roofer that you can merge. You can actually do the same PE play yourself with some people that you know.
Or you can do what you call a roll-up.
A roll-up. You do, that's a roll-up.
Which I worked on, that was almost 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, John Lorenz, that's actually a chapter in my book, and we put together a whole roll-up group early on. They're now called Restoration Builders. They haven't gone public.
I've never heard of them. Are they good?
Well, they may go public here shortly.
Yeah, I know.
But just so you know, I got 4.5 million shares in that company.
Hey, you're my best friend now.
They might have forgot about it, but it's in my safe. But yeah, I was initially involved with that early roll-up.
Great. Well, roll-ups that's the way PEs make money, and that's the way smart people make money. So
I always thought it'd be a smart strategy, because look, the storm model, storm hits, guys' revenues go up, skyrocket. No storm for 2 years, they slow down. Which isn't sexy by itself. It's a bell-shaped curve. But if you got, let's say, a PE group bought 5 or 6 strategically paced contractors, one in Florida for hurricanes, one in Colorado for hailstorms, one in Minnesota, Illinois for the Midwest, one down maybe in Texas, Oklahoma, Tornado Alley, and maybe one on the East Coast. Well, you could actually ride those bell-shaped curves would actually ride out to look like this and make that collective group or roll-up group a very viable option.
That's exactly the play. That's exactly the play. It's a chess game, and you have to plan for things to go unplanned. So if you say, okay, well, I buy in different parts of the US, then if things happened here, I'm covered with things that didn't happen there. So basically it's hedging, right? So that's how you make money in a roll-up. And also, of course, because you take all the different administrative areas and you centralize them and you keep the companies in the different geographical area, but you centralize the accounting, the administration, the marketing, and now you make more money. Yeah. And companies are valued on EBITDA, on how much money they make. So you take 2 or 3 companies that make, I don't know, maybe $1 million each, you get $3 million, now your EBITDA is $3 million, and then you start saving money because you centralize stuff, now you go to $4 million, and now your multiple is higher, and then you sell it to the bigger fish.
Well, then you also have the ability to move resources between those companies. So imagine this. Minnesota is one of those companies.
Yes.
You know, they're dead in the water from November to March, winter season, right? But you got salespeople there. You got people that go out sign deals. Florida gets hit. Now you can send your 20 sales guys down to the other company because they're the joint partner in the umbrella organization, and you can shift some of your best players through this umbrella organization.
That's right.
And really capitalize on storm activity. So,
well, and that's how the industry is going to be 5-10 years from now, once the consolidation is really done. So if you have a small company somewhere in the US, whether it's Florida or whatever, you're going to be competing with these people that they can shift resources from A to B to C, and you're going to still compete in your small little area. So you got to think about this, because this is going to shape how the industry is going to compete very soon.
How about I put these 5 companies together?
Yeah.
On paper, they commit on paper. We put their five companies together. We combine all their revenues and EBITDA, and we sell that as a package to one of your groups.
That's a great idea.
Can I be part of that?
Yeah, of course. That's a great idea.
That was the idea early on with that John Lorenz deal. That, you know, we had a disagreement back in the day and kind of moved in separate directions. That was the whole idea.
You think about it's a simple thing, but then you have to start thinking about the personalities of the 5 different owners. I don't know. So some of them could be in AccuLinks, the other one could be in Job Nimbus, the other one, you know, Proline, and then you have to bring it all in.
You need a good CEO to bring those people together.
Yes, you need a lot of people, because everything works.
Massage those egos.
Yes, everything works on an Excel spreadsheet.
I can do that.
I don't think you have a big ego. Not at all.
Well, I can massage the egos.
Oh, you like to massage the egos? Yeah. Okay, well,
I'm good at that.
We got to.
I was there. Tell me a little bit about. So I know you got quite a few roofing companies now in your pipeline because you're really focused on that niche.
Yes, I only focus on.
What are you looking for? I know you got some that look interested in the younger, high growth. You got some that want the perfect. What are you looking for when you're talking to somebody as a minimum basis to be considered?
Yes. Okay. So that's the other thing. Anytime I talk to any owner of any roofing company, they say, "Oh, I got all these calls from private equity." Well, okay. First of all, do you know what private equity is and who's actually calling you? Because most of the time it's fishing expeditions.
Could be a salesman.
A salesman, another broker, you know, or a buy-side broker, or somebody that doesn't have any money. Now, you know, there's funds that are called search funds, and a search fund doesn't actually have any money. It's a guy that was graduated, I don't know, from MIT or from Harvard, and he's got a couple of good friends that he could, tap in for money, and he becomes a search fund, and he puts a really nice website, and they call you, and you think you have somebody that's interested. It's 90% of the time it's a fishing expedition.
What are you looking for in terms of, like, is it 3 to 5 years of minimum being in business? Is it 3 million, 5 million kind of the minimum? Is it 3 years of growth at least? Is the EBITDA got to grow? I mean, what are those variables where you consider
the minimum to be considered by any private equity, it's $1 million in EBITDA. If you're below $1 million in EBITDA, most private equities are not going to look at you.
So you're talking about an $8 to $10 million revenue producing company.
Yes.
For those watching it right now that don't know EBITDA, that's your net income. Revenue.
It's a little different.
But labor, material. You got your gross profit, sales commissions. And you got your net income. That's your EBITDA.
Exactly.
But you're talking, so you say $1 million, you're really talking about a $10 million company, maybe $8 million company.
At least $8 million, yeah, because it depends on your profitability. You're looking at 10%, so 10 million would be, a number, but it's got to be between 10 and 15%. That's what most good companies are.
Is that 3 years at 10 million?
Yes.
Is that
yeah,
first
you don't
year
want to do a
5?
one spike, and because that's very suspicious that
But
you
now,
get exactly
I will
to
say
that.
now there's outliers to that, because like I just said, there's a PE group that went and looked at my buddy Dave.
Yes.
He's been in business 2 years, and he happens to have a whopper year right now, but he does not have the 3 years. So there is
The question is, there's no broad answers. There's always, the caveat is there's going to be somebody that's interested in your company, might not be the right person at this point. But yeah, to your point, yes, many companies are looking for growth companies. Like I said before, this is a different type of strategy or buyer. Okay, yes. You're right. But the important thing is that you really need to have your accounting correct. And that's one of the things that I constantly, and it doesn't matter how big or small the company is, my job for the first 3 months of working with a company is to get those accountings correct.
So you actually get their QuickBooks, look through.
The QuickBooks, yeah. We always
job
ask.
Costing,
exactly.
all that kind of stuff.
And sometimes we can't do it, and that really hurts your valuation. So that's number one. Number two, you got to have good processes. You can't sell a company where you are everything in the company. If you are the company, you can't sell yourself. So
or you got to stay on board.
You got to stay on board.
Most PE groups are requiring that anyways, aren't they? The owners got to stay on
at least a couple of years.
3 years.
At least a couple of years. Yeah.
They call that the earn-out.
Well, the earn-out is one of the different parts of a deal, right? So you have different terms. Earn-out is one. Basically, earn-out is if I make this, you will make that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then you have seller financing that it's independent of how much money the company makes, and then you have shares. You can have, buy back some of the shares that you sell. There's all different kinds of terms to the deal, and that's why when we talk about multiples in just the multiple itself, that's not really the only
let's talk about the
variable.
I mean, usually roofing companies, on average, it's a 4 to 6 times multiple of EBITDA or net income. Mm-hmm. So if I'm a $10 million company, let's just say I'm at 12% now, 10% net income. Okay, so let's say I'm that $1 million EBITDA.
Yeah, it's going to go.
And I've been doing that maybe 2-3 years in a row or close to it. We're looking at a $4 to $6 million sale price.
That's right.
Normal,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Now,
that's right.
There's variables to that. For example, if I had some special niche, if I was growing very explosively, maybe I could get 7 times or 8 times.
Yes.
But the average is 4 to 6.
That's the average, and again, you're saying it correctly. It's the average. It could be higher or it could be lower, but the average is going to be between 4 and 6. Now, the thing is, you're going to get closer to the 6 the more organized your company is, the better your books are, the less you're in the company, the more your top management actually understands how to run the company. So that's going to take you to the higher level. And there's another type of buyer that's called the strategic buyer that might buy you for an even higher multiple because they're not really basing their decision on your EBITDA today. They're basing their decision on how they're going to save money when they buy you, which is a different way, right?
I've seen a deal go really fast where a guy bought a contracting company literally 3 weeks after a hurricane hit. Licensed in Florida.
So you got to run away.
But the price went up because you had the lottery ticket sitting right there staring you in the face for an extra $10 million. So there's all those kind of factors can matter.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and you got to be careful too because when you get all these offers, you really need to read the fine print on how that offer works. Because just I was telling you about the earnouts and so forth. If you look at the fine print, you might never actually get that earnout. You might never actually get those stocks if you really don't know exactly how they work and what type of stock it is. We get offers all the time, 20% stock options or stocks. Well, okay, what type? Okay, is it preferred stock? Is it common stock?
I like cash.
Well, cash is king always.
Stock's going to show me the money. Look, so guys watching us right now, we're talking about earnout and all that. So when somebody says if they made you an offer for, let's say, $4 million, in most cases with these PE groups, guys, you're not going to get $4 million up front. You can expect to get maybe $2 million, and then you're going to have to stay on board for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, do certain things, fiduciary responsibility, transition, whatever. Probably have some growth or at least plateau. to get that second half of whatever it is.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking
which
about.
is
So a lot of
called
guys think, hey man, I get to go retire. Nah, not a roofing company. Man. You have to stay on, transition. You're gonna have to stay on for a couple of years. And even on a roofing company sale to another company, there's still a transitionary period. You don't get to walk away. I mean, usually you got to transition a license, the management team, make sure that things are buttoned up, and so in any case, it's usually gonna be a split payment.
Well, and that's why sometimes, when I talk with an owner, I said, hey, when do you want to sell? Oh, I got a couple of years. I'll think about it 2 or 3 years from now. Well, wait a minute, because if you're thinking about retiring 3 years from now, you got to start today. First of all, because they're going to look at your accounting 3 years back. So there you go, 3, and then they're going to ask you to stay 2 years more. So that's 5.
Yeah.
So if you're burnt out today, well, that means you should have made this decision 2 years ago, not today. We can patch it and we can sell it, but if you really want to get money for your business that it's actually good money, you got to start today if you're going to sell 3 years from now.
You hit the nail on the head. I mean, if you're thinking about selling in a couple of years, or it's a vision, and I tell you what, if you're an entrepreneur in the roofing industry or an owner, you should always be thinking about, you should start that business with the end in mind, because someday you're not going to want to do it anymore. Someday you're going to want to pass it on to the kids, or sell it, or do something else, or at least go sit on an island for 60 days and not be a slave to your own company. That's a dream of a lot of these guys, and I was there many times.
I couldn't do that.
But I think the preparation should start a year or 2 in advance. And that's where a lot of guys, if they got that curriculum or education on, not just start doing little things to prepare their accounting, little systems to put in place, the price of that company can go up.
Yes.
By the way, I'm a perfect example of what not to do. Like I had to sell, you know the story.
Yes, I know the story.
2 years ago, right here in this studio.
By the way, this is an amazing studio, okay?
Oh, appreciate it.
Before you go into your story, I just want to give you a shout out for this. I love this place. All this, the speakeasy. You got the boardroom over there. You got the stage over there. I love this place.
Call it a man cave.
Yeah, well, it is. It is. You have the cigar there. I wish I could have something like this in my house, but
we do a lot of boot camp trains here. It's set up. We got a full stage. You can see over here. The audience can't see.
There's a boot camp coming up. A really good one that I know of. Have you heard about it?
We're doing Exit Strategy.
Yes, sir, man.
Exit Strategy for contractors. Friday, September 26th.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't mean to blow my own horn, but it's going to be an amazing thing.
We're coming in with all this stuff going on of buying contracting companies. A lot of guys have questions how to prepare your company for sale.
Yes.
So we have a nice curriculum. I did one here 2 years ago, right after I sold WTS SPG. And we filled this room with a lot of contractors that were looking for, okay, what do I got to do to prepare my books, prepare myself? How do I connect with the buyers? How do I prepare my company to sell? What's EBITDA? How do I make sense out of that? And so we had a good turnout here, and we had a good turnout in Dallas. We did another one in Dallas.
Great.
And I think I haven't seen a lot of these things pop up focused on curriculum. I think your event on Friday, September 26th, is going to be a good one here.
I didn't hear you. When is it?
Friday, September 26th.
Okay, got it.
Exit Strategy for contractors.
Well, here's the thing, right, about boot camp. I really want to make something that's different than what you're hearing. I don't like to hear all these gurus out there giving you half of the information, 1/4 of it, and a little bit of rah-rah and a lot of BS. What I want to do is I want this to be a really strong event so you can come out of this with actual knowledge of what to expect going through a process, and hopefully knowledge on how to today be prepared for the future. So we're going to put a lot of effort into content. We're going to do a little bit of a rah-rah, and we're going to have a party, and I hope we go fishing and we do a lot of stuff together. But at the end of the day, I want you to come here because you're coming all the way from anywhere in the US, coming all the way down to South Florida. I want you to really have an experience that you won't forget.
Yeah, I mean, I think you mentioned some of the guys you're going to invite, they can bring their P&Ls in to get a review of their P&Ls.
Yes.
And how do you analyze your EBITDA? So a lot of guys are like, well, what's EBITDA? Well, it's your net income. But a lot of guys don't know little things like your owner discretionary expenses or add backs can actually increase your net income.
Yes.
And every contractor watching this right now, and I was in that space and still am with companies that run today, they run a lot of their stuff through their company.
Yes.
Sometimes they pay the mom's rent. Sometimes the girlfriend's on payroll. Sometimes they buy extra vehicles, Section 179 deduction that you normally wouldn't do, or they're more extravagant. And then those things can actually add back into your net income to make it higher.
Yes, and we're actually going to have exercises on that. But guys, don't think this is going to be an accounting class, okay? It's not going to be an accounting class. It's going to be fun, but it's actually going to put in front of you what a buyer looks at and how you can be prepared for that sell. Again, whether you're selling tomorrow or 5 years from now, there are things that you need to know. Because also, I don't want to be a downer on this, but many people sell their businesses because they have to and not because they want to.
Me. I sold it a 50% discount, and I didn't use a broker and attorney.
You didn't know me, that's the problem.
I was in a situation here a couple of years ago where I just had a sell, and I was actually just in a change of life moment where I wanted to change some things. I bought this property, rebuilt it.
Yeah.
I needed some cash, and I was kind of tired of the space I was in. I wanted to kind of reinvent. So I fire sold. What do you call a fire sell?
Yeah, the fire sell.
And I knew exactly what my company was worth, by the way. And I fire sold for half the amount, but it turned out well. I moved in a new direction, and looking back on it, I could have slowed down, maybe used a broker, an attorney, and slowed down. But sometimes, and that's the position a lot of guys are in, is they sell when they have to, versus being prepared to sell for a higher price by getting a little assistance along the way.
Exactly. So you got to be ready for that at any time.
Now, some of the curriculum you're doing, we got like an M&A attorney coming in, a financial planner, which is your nuts and bolts of selling your company. But we're also bringing in another company that buys out the receivables.
Which is amazing.
So if they have cash flow issues, and some of the biggest companies do.
Yes.
We got a company coming in that's going to actually wants to cut deals and buy out the receivables for a percentage of some sort.
Yeah.
But all these kind of things tie into cash flow management, preparing my company to sell. Yeah. And some of your stuff I liked. I looked at your curriculum. You're going to do some skit training, so they can learn how to respond to an LOI, and how to negotiate and stand up for things like ODE to get their net income up. And it's a real interactive experience, other than just getting talked to.
Well, Anthony, I've been to a lot of conventions, meetings, boot camps, and most of them are about the people who are on stage. What I want to make this is about the people who come to the place, okay? I want to make it about the people who are the audience and turn them into actors and the ones that are actually the focus of this. I don't see that very often, and I think that is something that's going to be different.
Well, I liked your idea about some of the top guys are a little more ready to sell their company and allowing them that last hour of the day to come up and elevator pitch their company, pitch their financials to their best ability on stage as a way to kind of go through that.
Yeah, kind of like a role play, and then,
and now you
but
got
it's
the
all about having fun.
Here,
M&A.
Got a couple PE groups that are going to be here eyeballing companies. So guys, you may come to this thing, not only learn how to sell your company, but you're going to connect with buyers.
Yes, you might even sell your company before you leave. Who knows?
Sign the deal. Can I get 5%? I'll take 2.
Don't undercut me.
Well, what is a typical, for guys watch this right, what is a typical broker?
There's something that's called the Lehman or double Lehman scale. So you start with a percentage, and then the bigger the company, it goes. 10%, it's an average. But if it's a bigger company, of course, it's going to be less. You come down. So, and how hard or easy it is. I mean, there's a lot of variables, just like in the EBITDA multiplier. There's a lot of variables that go into that. So
everything's negotiable.
Everything is negotiable. I don't like to negotiate that much, but don't say it.
Just leave a point.
Don't tell anybody, okay?
Leave 1 point for me somewhere. I'm just kidding. I know you can't. I guess you can't do that.
I can't do that. I wish I could, but I can't.
So guys, we're excited to have Claudio out here Friday, September 26th. I'm going to help host it.
I would
make people laugh.
Yeah.
I make sure everyone's having fun and get help set the thing up. We're going to have open bar. We got a bonfire. We got a live band. We got a fishing trip on Saturday. You guys know how I do it. We have a lot of fun. We put a great curriculum together. Yes. We got the cigar bar lounge, and we got a cigar bar roller from Cuba.
Yes.
It's going to be a nice event, and it's an all-day event on Friday. Some networking stuff here Friday night, and then some optional activities on Saturday, like the fishing trip. If you want to do the alligator hike with me.
Yeah, I want to do it again with you, man.
For some reason, only a couple guys always show up there on Saturday morning. It might be the event the night before. I'm not sure.
Well, September isn't going to be that hot like when you and I went the other day. It was way too hot. But
that's actually a good time for guys up in Illinois and Minnesota to think about coming down to Florida in September.
Could be. Yeah,
get out of the cold.
So when was it again? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Friday, September 26th, Exit Strategy Bootcamp for contractors right here at MVG Studios. Lots of curriculum.
Yeah.
Might even get a chance to sell your company. I know we got a couple big buyers coming.
Yeah, we're gonna have big buyers coming in. We're gonna have attorneys that are gonna defend you and make sure that you sign the right agreement. We're gonna have accountants that are gonna help you understand your finances, and we're gonna have fun. That's very important.
Yeah.
That's key.
Gonna have fun with people you're working with.
Sure
so
thing.
guys, we're excited, glad you could make it today.
Thank you.
Guys, again, Friday, September 26th, Exit Strategy Bootcamp for contractors. Come on in. Claudio Villas will be the lead man here.
The Roofing Biz Broker, man.
All kinds of, a couple other speakers are going to add to that curriculum to be a robust curriculum.
Yes.
And then we're going to have some fun here at night, do some networking and some optional activities on Saturday.
Love it.
See you soon. Booyah, baby.
Yeah, baby.